This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on talking about what we've done this past month and what's going on in the world of video games.
Hey, you changed the intro. I'm so proud. The other new part of the intro is The Gorge is brought to you by Audible. To get a free free audiobook of your choice from Audible's amazing selection of audiobooks, go to
audibletrial.com/GorgeCast.
Gorgecast. I forgot. I wanted to, because we have like two different URLs for shilling, and I was trying to say the other one. So audibletrial.com/GorgeCast. I actually haven't heard the audiobook for it, but right now I'm reading physically Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, and it's extremely good. So if you want a short thing to listen to, I only assume that the audiobook is also quite good, because I'm very much enjoying the actual book. So there's a good recommendation from Sarah, who has been reading more. So yeah, on with the show.
All right. So it is our weekly monthly roundup where we talk about what we've been up to, and you have the big thing that you've been up to this past month. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to get my stuff out of the way?
We'll do this real quick and just kind of get it out of the way, because it's like, I don't want to talk for like 8 hours about it. But yes, I did go to Tokyo. I was in Tokyo for basically 5.5 days, and it was incredible the entire time. The thing that probably overwhelmed me the most is, did you guys know there's a lot of people in the city of Tokyo?
Really? You know, I wouldn't expect Japan's population to be that big.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. One of the most populous metropolitan centers in the world. Turns out, a lot of people in those populous metropolitan centers. Yeah. It's a little overwhelming if you live in the country like I do. So, Tokyo has 10 million people in it. The entire state of Alabama has 20 million people. So it was a little overwhelming at times.
That's a shift.
It's a shift. Just the number of people constantly coming and going. I think we went to Kawasaki Warehouse, which I'll talk about in just a second. We went to Kawasaki Warehouse one night, and on the way there, I was like on the verge of an anxiety attack, because like I had been around people the entire, like a truly staggering number of people the entire trip, and like for some reason the trip to Kawasaki, probably because I was like overtired as well, and we had already done a lot that day. So the trip to Kawasaki Warehouse, I was just like, there's people all around me. They keep looking at me because there were not a lot of like tourists on the train. So it was like really just me and my friend. And I was like, there's people and they keep looking my way. And there's so many people everywhere. It's like really freaking me out. I got over it once I got some like food and coffee in me. But for a second there, it was like really getting to me. But it was incredible. Kawasaki Warehouse is now closed forever. But I went before it closed, and it's exactly as fascinating on the inside as all the pictures suggest. It's just the coolest. We played Mario Kart, some fighting games, tooled around in Dissidia. I don't like it.
You got to play Dissidia in the arcade?
I played the arcade version of Dissidia. I didn't like it. What else did we play? We played Time Crisis, which was great. So, like on a whole, it was awesome. It was just so much fun to just go see it and actually go through. Like, the entrance is incredible, and the exit is like, you see all the pictures of Kawasaki Warehouse's exit, and it's like, that's actual water, like in that little flooded area. And I was just like, man, if I fall and bust my ass in this place, I will have to leave the country of Japan immediately. But it was amazing. The food was great. We did a lot of really touristy stuff. We went to like Sensoji and Asakusa, and we did Akihabara, even though I know that you're not really supposed to do Akihabara because it is kind of touristy these days. It's like, fuck it, I want to see Electric City. Electric City is cool. We went to one of the used bookstores in Akihabara, whose name I can't remember. And on the first floor, it's a lot of like merchant stuff, and it was really cool. And on the second floor, I saw there was a sign for video games. I did not also notice that it was a sign for Dojin as well. So I was like, oh, use video games. So we went upstairs and I looked at like the old NES carts and stuff. But on the way up there, it was just like titty manga everywhere. And they were just like out. And my friend is not a weeb. God love her. She like plays Zelda. That's kind of it. She was going for like the art and the culture and all that stuff, which I mean I was too, of course. But I mean, you know,
but you
I have a video game podcast. What do you want from me?
You had some expectations going in about the country.
Sure. And yeah, second floor, tons of just titty manga out in the open. I was like, oh, okay. So that was fine. She was just like, oh my god, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I probably should have anticipated that would happen. Actually. It was cool. Akibara's very flashy. We went to the Sega arcade and just kind of like walked around and played some of the claw game, UFO catchers. Mm-hmm. Did those. They're the Fate Grand Order fighting game, or not fighting game, but like they have an arcade game now too. And you like, I don't even know what it is, but it was there, and I saw it, and I saw people doing things in it, and I was like, ooh, I can't overstate how fucking loud everything is over there. Like, especially arcades. Holy shit. Like,
every arcade game is trying to compete with every other one to get your attention.
Oh my god, it's so fucking loud. The like third floor of Kawasaki Warehouse had like pachinko and stuff on it, among other things, and like, holy shit. For one, you can smoke on the third floor of Kawasaki Warehouse, so we walked in, we're just like, oh god, okay. You can smoke inside in a lot of places in Japan, turns out. We ate in a restaurant in Shibuya where they actually asked us smoking or non-smoking, and I was like, what? That was probably the most, like, incomprehensible part of being in Japan to me.
Like, when was the last time you were asked that in, like, an American restaurant?
Oh, God.
Like, fucking
literally, when I was a child.
95?
You know? Yeah, like, 1995 tops. But there's, like, you know, people still smoke pretty consistently in Japan. It was weird. Culture shock is real, y'all. There was a lot of times I was just, like, I had a really good time, but, like, I mean, if you haven't noticed, I can talk a lot, and it's pretty quiet, you know, like, people keep to themselves unless they, like, know each other. I mean, that's kind of how it is in America, but in America, you can kind of strike up a conversation with, like, a total stranger just because you're bored on the subway, like, on, a bus together or something. Mm-hmm. It wasn't seemed to be a lot of that, and I was just, and also the fact that, like, I couldn't speak the language, and I was only with, like, my one friend, so after a while, I was just like, oh god, I need to talk to somebody. And so as soon as we were back in the Dallas airport, I literally started like 6 different just conversations with randos as soon as we were back in Dallas. I just was like talking to the girl at the coffee table, like at the coffee shop and all that stuff, and I was like, yay! But like, man, it's beautiful over there. We went to the top of the government building in Shinjuku. We got tons of pictures. I think maybe like the title card for this episode could be like the Kawasaki Warehouse door, because I got a picture of that. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, totally.
And I'll send that to you afterwards. Geez, what else? Food was super good. Every bit of it. I got there was a conveyor belt sushi place in Shinjuku. If you look it up, it comes up. It's pretty close to Golden Guy. I got conveyor belt sushi there. Golden Guy is super cool. Golden Guy is a little section of Shinjuku. It's a bunch of back alley bars and stuff. And they all hold like 5 to 15 people, depending on how many can get crammed in there. But there's like 100 of them, 200 of them. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's extremely cool. And every bar has like lots of little like different personality and stuff. And we actually ended up just by virtue of like we were walking and we were tired, but we still wanted to see as much of Golden Guy as we could. And we just ended up by virtue of it being like the last one on the row, and we were finally like, okay, let's get a drink. It was like an American themed bar.
Oh, perfect.
And so we ended up in there, and the girls there were really cool. It was called 5 Gallon Golden Guy. If you look it up, it's cool. They have a skeleton hanging off of a sign. The girls there spoke pretty good English, so I could actually have a conversation with them. They had Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire, which I was just ecstatic. I was like, I came 5,000 miles to drink cinnamon whiskey. Hell yeah. So they gave me some shots of that. Drinks are really good. Food, I mean, like, food and drinks were pretty affordable over there, which was really cool. I don't think I spent more than like 1,200 yen on most of my meals. Maybe like slightly more at like one place. But otherwise, like, it was pretty doable. It was really cool. I think I didn't spend that much money while I was over there like I was expecting. Just like, I could just talk circles all day about how cool it was. It's beautiful. We went out to the countryside for a day. We stayed in Yugawara. We went to the ryokan. It's called Ryokan Tokyo Yugawara or something like that. Sorry. If you Google those words, you'll get it. And it's just beautiful. It's like the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just like rolling hills and, like on one side of you is mountains and on the other side is the ocean.
Aww.
I mean, it was literally like something out of a movie. For real.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was just like at one point, like my friend and I, it was a 2-hour train ride, by the way.
That's really not bad.
It's not that bad, but it was also just like, boy, the transition from like city to like less city to suburbs to like rural to not like, obviously it's only 2 hours outside of Tokyo, so it's not that rural, but it's still, fairly rural. Yeah, that transition is just like so interesting. It's so cool. All the houses over there are very neat looking. I love Japanese houses because they're very like squat and narrow. I just think they're so like, they have so much like character and personality because they're all very different. So I was like trying to get as many pictures as I could. I took 2,000 pictures the whole time I was there. Yeah. Yeah. And Yugawara is beautiful. It's just like rolling hills with like little houses kind of tucked into it. And there's, we looked up at one point and there was, because it's like, there's like natural hot springs, of course, all over the area. We looked up and there's just like steam like rising out of like the hillside. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's cool.
So cool. It was like the weather is magnificent. If you ever want to go, like November is a pretty good time to go, actually. It gets dark really early. It was getting dark by like 4 o'clock, 4:30. But like the weather was perfect. It barely rained one day. It was like 60, 70 degrees and sunny the rest of the time. So it was totally great time to go. Not as many tourists because it's like the down season for tourism, so it wasn't too crowded. I mean, comparatively speaking. God, what else? It's like I'm like jumping from one topic to another. There's just like so much to even. We stayed in Ueno, for example. Ueno is like kind of next, like in terms of like wards, it's kind of like next door to like Akihabara and Shibuya, so like it's close to everything, but it itself is not as touristy. Our hostel was next to Ueno Park, so I woke up every morning and there was Ueno Park. It was super beautiful. It has the swan boats. The swan boats are cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was just amazing. It was so.
Did you take a boat out?
We did not take a boat out because they are paddle boats. You have to paddle them with your feet.
Oh.
And we were tired. We're like, no, we're not doing paddle boats. We're exhausted. But it was fun to see. We went to the zoo is there in Ueno Park. We went to the zoo one day just to walk around. It's only $6 to get into the zoo. Well, 600 yen, but you know. We went to the zoo, and I guess there was a school having a field trip that day or something, because there were just little kids everywhere, and it was adorable. They all have the matching hats and stuff, and I was just like, babies! And it was just like, I'm approximately, late 20s-ish. And so, like, there's like babies and stuff running around, and I was just like, oh my God, it's so cute. They all like, cause like they wear the matching hats to differentiate like their class, I guess, or how old they are. I think it's age range.
I think it's
tons of kids. It was so cute.
Oh, it's adorable.
I love it. I just was so happy. And it was great. I got to see some giraffes. Bunch of Japanese women got to see me get really excited about, like, a bunch of them were just like, why is this guy Gene so excited to see a bunch of giraffes? I'm like, giraffes are amazing, you don't understand. So we saw giraffes. We did not see the giant panda because it was a 30-minute wait to see the giant panda.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm not standing in a line to see a panda. I'm sorry. I'm not as in love with pandas as, like, the entire nation of Japan apparently is. So I was happy to see giraffes. There was no wait time to see the giraffes. So it's like, yay! Yeah, it was amazing. I got actual for real takoyaki, which is like one of the things I just like desperately wanted. Because like I've had takoyaki before, but it's served at like a restaurant. It's not like, you know, like for real takoyaki.
It's not like the
street vendor kind.
Yeah, the handmade.
Yeah, it was so good. It was amazing. My friend was just like, she doesn't like seafood that much, and so I'm like, I know.
Well,
yeah, I got bad news for you. But we managed. I mean, like, we got ramen, and we had udon, and oh god, there's so much food over there. It rules. I actually lost weight over there, though, because we were walking so much. Mm-hmm. The day we walked the least, we walked 8 miles.
God!
The day we walked the most, we walked 12 miles.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So I lost weight. I came back 3 pounds lighter, which is awesome. I see now. Yeah, it ruled. So yeah, Tokyo was incredible. I don't want to like spend 20 minutes talking about it. I could, but I'm not going to. Tokyo was amazing. If you can, I guess my plug is the tickets I got and that Ben also got came from Scott's Cheap Flights. It's this email list where they send you about 3 or 4 times a day, more if you're on the premium, but I'm on the free mailing list. And on the free mailing list, they still send you like 2 to 4 emails a day of like cheap international flights. Like today I got, let me open my email real quick. Let's see. Like a good example is like today I got, $200 to Puerto Rico, and the other day I got $600 to Singapore. So the Singapore is usually like a $1,200 plane ticket, you know? And the Tokyo tickets were $580 a pop, both ways.
And that's really good.
It's really, really good. So my big recommendation is you go sign up for that. Just do the free version. You don't have to do the paid version. Unless you want to. And just, you know, if you ever want to travel internationally, just kind of keep your eyes peeled and, you know, see what pops up. And if you've got the money to do it at the time, then take the leap. Because usually the plane ticket dates are for like way in the future. So just buy the ticket and then worry about getting the rest of the money together as the months progress. If you've got the cash, then go for it. There's nothing like traveling internationally and like really getting to see like someplace completely different. Because like it is still, I mean, you know, most places are like kind of the same these days, but it's still like so different and so beautiful. My God, just beautiful. Mm-hmm. Cannot possibly recommend it enough. I'm probably going to take another trip, either overseas. My brother says me and him are going to do Tokyo, in early 2021. We'll see, but it would be cool. But yeah, cannot possibly recommend doing it more if you can find a way to get over there. It's just incredible. It's incredible. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Did you do anything else this month?
I played some Death Stranding. I'm not terribly far in it because I've been busy with other stuff and like other games. I played some Death Stranding. I played a little bit more of Outer Worlds. That's kind of it. Death Stranding is strange. I like it, but it's strange. I feel like I just need a really good Saturday where nobody is bothering me to like just sit down and really soak myself, like absorb myself into it, kind of a thing. Because like lately I've just had stuff going on, so I don't want to really play Death Stranding for like an hour. I don't feel like that does it justice.
It's like it's an immersion game. Like you gotta be like, it's Death Stranding time.
You have to be like in a mood, and I just haven't been very much in a mood. But I enjoy what I've played so far. It's very odd, but I like it. I like it a lot. So, other than that, play a little bit more Outer Worlds. It's good. It doesn't grab me the way like a Fallout does, and I'm trying to parse why that is. maybe if we eventually do an episode on it. I know Saturn said they wanted to go, like, get on an episode about the Outer Worlds as well.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe with the help of Saturn, we can have another 3-hour-long episode where we all try to parse out why the Outer Worlds is good, but doesn't feel like it has the same staying power as, like, a Fallout New Vegas does.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think part of it is the lack of the open world, if I had to guess. So, we'll see. Other than that, I've been reading a lot lately. Like I said, I picked up The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, as in, like, the book that the Netflix series is based off of.
Right.
I've never seen the Netflix series. I don't have Netflix. I don't really, not to sound like a huge snob. This is gonna make me sound like a snob. Sorry. I don't watch TV. I don't really, like, watch a lot of stuff. Like, if a certain anime looks, like, really interesting, then I'll watch it. I watch the occasional movie. Sometimes I watch a TV series, but I don't really watch a lot of it. I just prefer video games. So I haven't seen the Netflix series yet. But I really enjoy the book. It's, Shirley Jackson has a really cool writing style where she just really focuses on, like, building, like, the scene itself and has, like, the feeling of being in a place, and kind of making, like, an area feel alive, like, really focusing on like, building the scene, and that builds tension, and all the characters in it are shockingly charming for a horror novel. Like, all 4 of them are, so far, I just got to the part where all 4 of them meet. I'm not done with it. Where the 4 main characters of Hill House meet, and they have their first, like, real conversation over drinks, and they're all just, like, incredibly charming. So it's a horror novel. I don't know what's going to happen to them, but it was a horror novel written in 1959. However,
wait, really? It's that old?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought it was a recent thing.
No, Haunting of Hill House is a super old novel, right? To, like, 59, maybe 69, but, like, old book. Yeah, it's really good.
Huh.
And then I also bought last night. I bought Joe Hill's Strange Weather. And it's a anthology of 4 different horror novella. And I read the first one while I was at the bookstore. I was just killing time at the bookstore. And I just picked it up because actually Paperback Dreams on YouTube recommended it. And I was like, that sounds neat. So I picked it up and I read the first one. I just, like, consumed the first novella inside the book. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm getting this. I really, really like it. The first one is about, like, Polaroids. I don't want to tell any more than that, but it's, like, the idea of, like, Polaroids stealing memories.
Huh.
It's also a horror novel. I like horror books. I was talking to my brother. I was like, yeah, I got Strange Weather by Joe Hill. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's just as good as his dad. And I was like, wait, what? Who's his dad? Do you know who his dad is? Take a guess.
Stephen King?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was just like, somebody recommended, like I said, a YouTuber told me, like, hey, Strange Weather by Joe Hill is good. And I picked it up. I was like, this is really good. Turns out it's Stephen King's son. He just writes under a pseudonym so that, like, people won't just associate him with his dad. He's really good on his own, turns out. I like Stephen King's writing, but, like, not that much, because he's, like, a crazy person, and, like, a lot of his books he wrote, like, all of his, like, really famous books he wrote on, like, an insane cocaine bender in the 80s. Like, you know, we've all seen it.
Yeah.
It's, like, 18 billion pages long. You can bludgeon somebody to death with it, and most of it is...
It's got really weird scenes in it that, like, aren't in any of the movies or the show for very good reason.
Thank God.
Because they're weird.
Yeah, we all know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of reading again, and I played 2 video games. Probably should play some more. I am gonna play Disco Elysium sooner than later because I'm really excited, but, like, I just hadn't had the time yet. So
right.
That's me.
Okay. In comparison, I barely did anything.
Oh, really?
So I'll go over real quick. Yeah, I played Death Stranding. I probably played a bit more than you.
Yeah, I think you're further than me.
If anyone plays it and they're like, I'm not feeling it, get to chapter 3.
Okay.
Get to chapter 3 and see what that has to offer you, and then decide if...
Yeah, because I'm not to chapter 3 yet.
Yeah.
I've been kind of tooling around in 2.
When you get to, like, chapter 2 and you're like, oh, is this the game? Like, no, there's a ton more. that pops up like as soon as chapter 3 starts. I played Disco Elysium on stream while you were gone.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that game's really good. That
it is.
I'm eager to play it not on stream.
Right.
It's a game that I really enjoyed playing for the stream, but it's not one that I can do like a thing of. Like, I need to play this by myself.
It's a lot of reading. Yeah, it's a lot of reading, so you can't really like talk on stream while also trying to read what's on screen, you know?
Yeah, it's a game where you have to kind of stop and think and take things slowly and pace yourself with that. But yeah, I'm really excited to play more of that. I also played a little bit of the Outer Worlds too. I like it. It's just I have to keep tempering my expectations that it's not a Fallout. Right. Even though it looks and feels exactly like a Fallout, but just
even though they marketed it like a Fallout.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm trying to play this differently than I would play a Fallout. Like, I'm playing a different character, and it's fun to kind of like push myself out of what I usually do in these kinds of games.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it for as far as games go. I didn't really make a lot of progress. Oh, I did play as Terry in Smash.
Oh, okay. How's that?
He's a fighting game character, and he uses Fatal Fury or King of Fighters moves, which are weird. Like, if you like, the thing with like Ryu and Ken is they have their inputs, right? Like,
yeah,
but they're quarter circles and half circles and DPs. Like, it's not that complicated. But Terry has like double motions and like he has. Okay, so he's the only character. So Smash characters have 4 specials, right? They have their standing, moving, or left, right, down, and up special, right?
Yeah.
Terry has 5. Terry gets the back special, and the game doesn't tell you he gets that until you find it out.
Oh, okay.
Terry also has 4 final smashes, 2 of which you can do as inputs at 100%. When your damage is at 100%, you get like a little like exclamation point above his icon, and then you can do input supers to do like his Buster Wolf and stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Game doesn't tell you how to do those inputs. You have to look them up, or unless you're good at King of Fighters and you already know them.
Then you just know, you just remember. Masahiro Sakurai is going to teach you fuckers how to play a fighting game if it kills him.
There are 60 songs from...
That's absurd.
From SNK, like SNK in general. So it's got Metal Slug in there. He was talking about how the stage has like a zillion King of Fighters characters in it. Like, it's very clear that Sakurai just really likes King of Fighters.
Yeah, I could tell.
So he was really like, God, you wish every character could have gotten this level of treatment. Cloud. But yeah, like, so that was really cool. And I wasn't a big fan of like Hero, when he came out. And so I'm glad that like Terry is as good as he is with getting all this kind of attention.
Right.
So I'm excited to see who the 5th will be. Hopefully it'll be like Dante or something.
It's gonna be Dante. I have to believe it's gonna be Dante. Cause, can I like tinfoil hat for a second here?
Okay.
Cause like, okay, like Devil May Cry 3 is coming out for Switch, which I'm sure is in the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the last Fighter Pass character comes out the same day as Devil May Cry 3 for Switch.
It's gotta mean something, right?
Maybe it means some. I'm definitely, like, you know, Pepe Silva. That's me. That's me just being like, no, it's Dante. It's Dante for Smash. It's happening. It probably isn't happening, but I want to believe. But yeah, maybe we'll see. Anyways, Terry's cool.
Yeah. What else did we do? Melissa and I watched She-Ra season 4 came out. We did that in one day.
Oh, okay.
That's a good show. That's a really, really good show.
I've heard.
It's better than like a lot of the other Netflix, DreamWorks shows they've been putting out. Way better than Voltron.
Yeah, well. Womp womp.
But yeah, that's like the good way to do like a serial show.
Yeah.
it's on season 4 and it's been out for 2 years. It still really weirds me out that Netflix does that.
That always weirds me out. Yeah, that they just kind of are like, well, here's another season. It hasn't been a whole year yet, but we don't care. We're not like normal TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, thanks.
We also got started and got caught up on The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting it to be way more like episodic sitcom-y thing, but it is a continuous story.
Oh,
where
okay.
like it like the plot progresses every episode.
See, I know nothing about The Good Place except that it's about being dead.
And you don't see that like ever on these kinds of like, primetime sitcom shows.
Yeah.
It's by the same studio that does Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is you get
really,
and you get that because not only do two the actors from Brooklyn Nine-Nine appear as pretty significant characters in The Good Place.
Oh yeah, Kevin's in it, isn't he?
Yeah, Kevin's in
it.
Okay. But like, also a lot of like the humor is very much like the same.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. Fuck.
Yeah,
I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's propaganda, but I don't care. It's my favorite. It's the only good propaganda out there. It's a good show. Shut up.
Yeah, but that's like highly recommend that one. That's really good. And then I also finished got completely caught up on the IDW Transformers comics.
Yeah, you're like now in hell where you just have to wait, right?
Well, so what happened is they did it in phases. So like this one started in 2005 and it ended last year. Okay. Like it's done. Like all the comics that I've been reading, I've hit the end, the last issue for all of them.
Oh.
So
no.
So what they're doing now is they've started over with a new continuity reboot. That's just one line instead of like being broken up into 3 different storylines, or what they did previously, which was like a whole bunch of little like 6-issue miniseries that were just constant. So this is like one consistent thing that I read a few issues of that, and like it's pretty good. It takes kind of a more fantastical look at Transformers. Like I don't know how to describe it beyond like, it feels very like kind of Silver Age melodramatic political story.
Okay.
Way less like action, military, war story, or like, high octane, like swashbuckling adventure.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty good. But like more importantly, like the first run is without a doubt More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light are the best comics I've ever read. Ever.
Really?
Ever. Number 1 series, without a doubt.
You are like a hardcore Transformers mark now, buddy.
I'm in it now. I'm like...
You're just in it.
I finished that. I finished the series, and then I'm like, all right, what do I do now?
Oh, that's the saddest feeling ever, isn't it?
So I'm probably going to start watching... Transformers Prime. Okay. Which was the CG cartoon they put out a few years ago, which was apparently like way better than people expected it to be.
Okay.
And then there's like another one it's kind of ongoing now. That's like a bit more of a lighthearted 11-minute episodes.
Right.
That I'll probably start watching too. So there's stuff for me to do. One of the main artists had his online store. He has like a bunch of prints for it. He's closing that store down. He closed it down yesterday, so I snagged 2 of the ones that I was really interested in.
Oh yeah, good.
So those will get here, and I'll be happy with that. But yeah, that was about it. That was like the biggest thing, was finishing Transformers and being like, oh god, this is the greatest thing I've ever read in a comic.
Oh man, that's great. Oh. That's a sad feeling, though, to be like, well, it's over. There's nothing left. You're done.
I know, like, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know I say this about everything, but honestly, you would like it.
I know.
It's got.
I know.
It's got gay robots.
It's got gay robots.
And a lot of them are sad. And a lot of them are very mixed up with their feelings and don't know how to express themselves correctly.
You do know how to speak to me, you bastard. 12 years of friendship. And it's like, I know how to sell her on a comic book. That's how this works.
It's got
sad gay robots. They don't know how to talk about their feelings. I'm like, all right.
It's got the pairing where the very stoic, serious warrior who is old and tired and doesn't know how to express himself correctly is like fucking super deep in love with the spunky young robot.
No!
Who's carefree and energetic and loves adventure.
Yeah, man.
It's got that, and they're like prominent characters.
Oh, all right. I might give it a shot, Benjamin. Don't drag me into Transformers, hell.
No, and so the nice thing about More Than Meets the Eye is that because it's about a bunch of characters who blast off into the galaxy,
right?
It's like almost entirely isolated.
See, all right.
There is one crossover in the entire like 4-year run.
Where do you get your comics? Like, where do you?
I ordered all the trades on Amazon.
Oh wow, you went hardcore. Okay.
So the thing is, I think I mentioned this earlier, where I'm like, I tried like reading like individual issues. Like you can buy individual issues like on your like through IDW on your phone or any sort of like tablet.
Yeah.
And I tried doing that, and then I'm like, I don't know who these characters are. I'm gonna need to like physically own this so I can like flip through the pages and like literally the first like 3 volumes. Every so often I would stop and go like, okay, that's Ultra Magnus, that's Skids, that's Rodimus, okay, that's Swerve. Okay.
Do you want to know why the Bakuno OP is the greatest OP ever made? Because it reminds you who everybody is every single episode. So by the end of it, there's a 20-character cast, and you still know everyone's name.
And so here's the kind of annoying thing they don't really mention about Transformers is that, like, obviously for the toys, like, you use the same molds and you color them different and they're different characters, right?
Yeah, of course.
They don't, like, change the characters' appearances for like the show or anything. It's just that character is just Red Bumblebee. It's the same. Cliff Jumper is just Red Bumblebee. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
So there's a few characters in More Than Meets the Eye that are the same mold but different colors, and I'm like, wait, who are you again?
Oh, you just have to start keeping index cards with a reference on it.
I have seen like fans like literally like wrote down little doodles of the characters so they could keep track of everyone.
Well, at least it's a universal experience.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not alone out there. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
But no, by the end, I'm very proud of myself. I can recognize characters now.
You did it! Yay!
including the one that kept tripping me up the most, because there's a character who is based on Prowl, and his name is Blue Streak, and he's not blue.
Why would you do that? No! Transformers! That's illegal! Oh my god.
I'm like, wait, who are you again?
What's your name? Why are you called Blue Streak? Why aren't you blue? Oh my god.
But no, it's like fucking like groundbreaking comic series. It finally, I'd never thought something would top Exiles, which is also about a bunch of desperate losers pretending they are friends with each other.
I'm starting to see like a pattern.
Like, I never thought anything would beat that, but no, these dumb gay robots did it, and I'm very happy for them.
Well,
and
I'm proud of
So
them.
here's the other thing, Sarah, that you'll appreciate about it. It managed to both have a bittersweet ending and also the best ending ever.
Oh, that is good. Okay.
It managed to do both, and they aren't contradictory of each other. It's great!
I love those kinds of endings, though. A good ending can really carry a whole fucking Future Diary. I'm talking about Future Diary right now. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When I say, if I ever tell anybody, like, a good ending can carry even like a shitty show, like pretty far, know that I am only talking about Future Diary / Mirai Nikki, which is probably my favorite trashy anime. I mean, I know it sucks, but I still kind of love it. I don't know. So yeah, I love a good ending.
Future Diary is the exact opposite of Mass Effect.
Yeah, where it like starts out, like, I don't know, why are we talking about this? We're gonna talk about this for a second, I guess. I was like really bored when I started Future Diary, and I was like watching, I'm like, this sucks. This is like the trashiest fucking thing ever. And then I was like 12 episodes in, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, where did all my time go? And then I just kept watching it, and it has a pretty good, satisfying ending where everybody gets to be happy, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think I like this show, even though it's like it is so trashy.
It's so like generic for the first it's so bland, and then well, not bland, but like it's so like predictable.
Yeah, I mean it's like everything is just it's like a yandere, and there's just like your standard boob joke. I mean like everything that is like when you tell somebody you like anime, they think of Future Diary, even if they don't realize it, you know?
It's everything.
And then it just keeps going.
It's everything you judge weebs for liking, all in one series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has a lot of, like, shitty stuff in it, but it's just, like, by the end of it, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I think I love this show, even though it's, like, pure trash. And that's just because it has a good ending. So, like, you know, man, it is the opposite of Mass Effect, where it's just, like, I can never, ever, I can watch Future Diary again, because I know it's gonna, like, end well. I can never play another Mass Effect game ever again. I don't think I've touched Mass Effect since it ended.
Yeah, me neither.
Anyways, speaking of video games and news, do you want to get to it?
Yes.
Let's do it!
Alright, so... the
News
start
time.
of the news.
Yes, hit me.
So we've got some Fallout 76 news to start off with.
Yay!
Of
Reset
course,
the clock.
The ride never ends.
I'm so glad.
So last month we talked about how we had a bunch of anarchists who would harass the premium players.
Yeah, class heroes, I know.
We have the opposite now.
What?
Fallout 76 paid subscribers have formed a peasant trashing aristocracy.
This is why we hate the rich, folks. Marx was right. Lenin was right. Put them all in gulags. Be done with them. Send them off to some faraway island. Guillotine them. I don't care. This is exactly why we don't like them. If you spent money on Fallout 76, you're a rube. You're a sucker. You are the worst kind of person.
So we've got, the article says, quote, this is from Rock, Paper, Shotgun, quote, at first it just meant the odd subscriber got attacked by people in bear costumes. Now the subscribers are fighting back, with 300 of them joining a clan called the Apocalyptic Aristocracy.
We hate them.
This involves flouncing around in fancy clothes while semi-joking about looking down on peasants. It's all good fun apart from the toxicity.
Yeah, semi-joking. Ain't not one of those people joking.
So, yeah, and it's the article goes on to talk about how, like, this would all be really, like, horrifying and weird if it weren't, like, in a video game.
It's like every single one of those. No, don't be those people. Don't be those assholes. Don't pay for Fallout 76. If you paid for Fallout first, you deserve the suffering being inflicted upon you. You deserve it. I hate to tell you this, but you absolutely 100% deserve to be mocked relentlessly at every fucking turn. If it wasn't like $100 a year or whatever the fuck it is, like, maybe I would be like, yeah, sure, private servers. But they're not actually private either, so you really are just a rube. And now you're a rube pretending to look down upon the poor, unwashed masses. But we know you're really not pretending. You want to pretend you're like the cool guy.
So the trolling in this game continues.
Oh, good.
With an article that came up yesterday.
Oh, good. Fallout
76 players can't shoot pacifists, so they're nuking them instead. Kotaku.
War never changes.
Kotaku wrote an article about this. So if you don't know how this works in Fallout 76, the way PvP works, if you're on a PvP server, and this is like, this part of it alone is by itself is not a bad thing. It's you shoot a player, and they take like minimal damage.
Yeah.
And then if they accept the attack, then full damage is activated for both of you, and you can gun it out. You know.
Right.
That's a pretty fair way to do it. You know.
Yeah.
However, the thing that people didn't realize until now is that, obviously, no matter what, you can't turn off environmental damage. You know, if you go into, like, an irradiated area or you get attacked by an enemy, you know, you aren't going to decrease that damage no matter what. That's part of the game.
Right.
People have discovered that if you use mini nukes or nuclear mines, the initial damage from the attack won't do much, but the ambient radiation will continue to, and Fallout, aware, because as your rads build up and your health decreases,
Yeah.
That is not capped as enemy damage. It's set as environmental damage, so you will still soak up the full amount of rads from these attacks. So players are just shooting nukes or laying down mines that players get caught in, and then they can't escape before they are irradiated to death.
Oh my god. Wow. We really learned something from playing Fallout about the horrors of nuclear weapons, didn't we, folks? We all learned a very valuable lesson about how we shouldn't use Wait, what do you mean they're nuking each other willy-nilly? Oh, God! This isn't what Tim Kaine wanted. This isn't what Tim Kaine wanted at all. Oh, God.
The stories will never end about this game until they shut it down.
Dead. Until it's dead, we'll be hearing stories about Fallout 76, and I'm okay with that. Eventually, if this game ever goes truly free to play, I will probably play Fallout 76. I hate to admit it. I'm not gonna pay for Fallout first, but I'm not gonna pay for the game. Period.
Oh, I'll dive in and see how bad it still is, no matter what.
No matter what, it's probably still just a massive piece of shit. I'm sure they have the barest skeleton crew at Bethesda keeping that thing up to try and get the last updates out before they let it just kind of simmer.
You gotta wonder, with this and an article I have later down, is this a producer situation?
I don't know.
Is this, we can do it? There's a lot of little old ladies out there?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking about it, this thing they made money off of. People bought into it.
I mean, they make money off of it, I assume. I guess they're I guess they're making money off of it.
Yeah.
They have to be. I mean, maybe they're hoping they can turn this shit around. I think a lot of people, like Anthem, I don't know if Anthem is on your news or not.
It is.
Okay. But Anthem and this, I think they all think they can be the next No Man's Sky, and they can't. Because No Man's Sky was a very special thing. So you can try, I guess, but we'll see. We'll see as Fallout 76 shuffles towards its slow, inevitable, tragic end.
Before it becomes too irradiated and finally just dies.
Aww. Sad story. Man, I'm never probably gonna get to play that game. The way it sucks too, because I've told you this before, it does seem to have a lot of really cool environments, and the whole point of a Fallout game is cool environment, at least for modern. Okay, God, please put down all the pitchforks. I mean, the modern Bethesda Fallouts are, the point is cool environments. Yeah, the game isn't great, but the fun part is walking around and seeing neat shit. And it seems 76 has a lot of neat shit to see, so it's that sounds kind of cool. And then, everything else around it is just, on fire all of the time. So it's
It never stops being on fire.
It has been on fire since the moment it came into this world, so, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Next.
All right. This one did manage to pull itself out of its own trash fire.
Oh boy.
Sonic the Hedgehog official trailer 2 came out with the redesigned Sonic that they promised.
Right.
Looks good. That Sonic design looks pretty good, actually.
Sonic design looks good. Movie still looks kind of
it looks very generic. Cartoon character comes to the real world movie.
Yeah. That was the one thing I was seeing everybody get real hyped about this movie, and I was yeah, Sonic looks good, but this still looks like a bad movie.
Jim Carrey looks funny.
Jim Carrey looks great. It's just that it's
Ben Schwartz is a good voice for Sonic.
Yeah.
There's isolated bits in this trailer that I'm oh, that was legitimately funny, or that was an entertaining shot.
I just want to know what idiot at Sega was this franchise that has a bunch of young children who love it. even though it's kind of like a little bit cursed, you know. This franchise that people really like and kids really, really love, and they want to kind of project themselves as like hanging out with Sonic. You know, kind of like Detective Pikachu. It had like teenager heroes. And so it's like, these are kids, but they're not like two kids. Yeah, Sonic movie is like, our main character is an adult with a gun. And
yeah,
I think he's a cop.
Our main character is a policeman. It's
a policeman, and it's like,
it, you know, and
what?
It's funny. It's almost like they could have, like, I don't know, maybe given Sonic like another animal sidekick to hang out with, like a friend who's younger than him. Like, maybe is really smart and, like, invents things.
I don't know.
Maybe some kind of, like Fox character.
No, that's stupid.
You know, like, that's
you say that, but then that means you would have had to have seen, like, Tails in that horrifying first style.
that picture of that, like, mutant fox, like puppet thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would look like. It would have haunted your dreams. Man is not meant to see that much horror in a short period of time.
I like it. Who was it that was saying it? It was on Twitter or something, where they're like, "Oh yeah, they're saving it. They're going to do it exactly like the game. So Tails is going to be in the second one, and Knuckles is going to be in the third one."
Yeah, I could totally see it. Honestly.
And then I said, like, or as my theory is that they're going to release Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in 2 parts. And you're going to have to stack the DVDs on top of each other to get the full one.
Yeah, exactly. I had that.
No,
I just, like, it just baffles me. It's like, yeah, this looks great until you see that it's, like, about, like, an adult male hanging out with Sonic. It's just, like, weird.
You know, and they, like you mentioned Detective Pikachu, and, like, the cool thing about Detective Pikachu is that it was humans in the Pokemon world.
Yeah, it was just a live-action Pokemon anime episode, basically.
And it's, like all of these, like, this movie, and, like, you think about stuff like, I don't know, like the Smurfs or whatever, where it's, like, it's the cartoon character goes to the real world and interacts with celebrity.
Yeah, it's just, like, I don't know, it feels so much less interesting than, like, what they did with Detective Pikachu, which is, like, fascinating to me. A movie that originally kind of horrified me, and I'm still like, that Jigglypuff, though. At least, like, the concept behind it is really solid. Like, just make Pokemon be real. That's all literally any small child wants, is for Pokemon to be real. I am an adult woman and I want Pokemon to be real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just, like, make a movie that's about that. And it's like, why wouldn't you just do that with Sonic? Why wouldn't you just make it be about, like, there's, like, people... I mean, Sonic 06 kind of sucks, but that means there's, like, people in Sonic. You could do, like, a cool mashup thing.
This is the funny thing, is, like, I've been reading, like, I've also been kind of, like, idly reading the Sonic comic, and, like, I've just, like, seen bits of the games and stuff, like, that have recently... Like, the recent, like, push for Sonic... is no humans besides Eggman.
Yeah.
Like, they've completely excised any hint of, like, another human person.
Yeah, but, like, the deal is that Sega does not have the, like, marketing coherency that, like, a Nintendo or, like, a Sony has.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also... It seems like they're just not gonna make Sonic Mania 2. Because, like, the creator of Sonic Mania... It tried to get a project kickstarted and just couldn't. So obviously he's not working. And he talked about how, like, he just couldn't get eyeballs on it. And wasn't really getting any support from Sega. So it sounds like he's just not working with Sega right now. So, like, the most beloved Sonic game in, like, years is probably not getting a sequel. So, that speaks volumes to me about how Sega loves to mismanage projects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like... yeah, of course the Sonic comics and the Sonic movie and the Sonic games have absolutely no, like, marketing consistency. That's just Sega, baby! That's just how they do! So...
That's, like... and it's funny because, like, in that second trailer, like, you've seen, like, a really, really good shot of, like, Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
And it's like, boy, that looks really artistic and, like, unique and, like, a fun environment to maybe explore. No. Small town.
It's the same boring... It's just...
It's
It just doesn't look like a good movie, even though I think that Sonic design looks really good.
Yeah, like, I'm glad, like, it went from being a horrific nightmare that might be fun to watch as a goof to, like, fairly decent-looking kids movie with...
It just looks like kind of mid now.
Yeah.
Know? So, oh well, at least Sonic isn't gonna haunt my dreams anymore.
Like, seeing the shot-by-shot comparison, you're like, boy, how did anyone even remotely think that one was okay?
I still think it was a marketing ploy, but that's
well, apparently, according to Tyson Hesse, who designed it, and can I just say, like, holy shit.
Good for him.
Fucking, that guy started off making fucking Sprite comics.
Yeah.
And, like, drawing a bunch of, like, weird Sonic joke stuff. Now he's directing the art for, like, the little Sonic Mania cartoons. He did the design for the Sonic movie.
Yeah,
he's doing
him.
Like, art for the comic. Like, fucking very impressive, dude. Good job.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
I know he says it wasn't, but also,
it might have been. Who knows?
It might have been. I don't know. It's a whole lot of... I mean, it got a whole lot of chat on Twitter. As soon as they announced it, it's like, boy, that's a lot of free advertising. I'll wear 100,000 tinfoil hats if I have to. All right, what's next?
Well, next is the other trash fire. You might as well get all of them in this episode.
Yay!
So there's one article and there's the real follow-up afterwards, because before it came out, Google did an AMA on Reddit about all the stuff that will not be in Stadia at launch. And now,
it's like all of it.
So now Stadia's out, so obviously this is old news, but it's still fun because I want to say this because it's a good lead up towards the news about its release. So here's what they confirmed that will not be in it. Stream Connect, State Share, and Crowd Play.
The whole reason anybody wanted to buy those fucking things.
Yes, the thing that lets you play with other people is not going to be in it. The achievement system is not going to be in it. The ability to use existing Chromecast Ultras to play games. You have to buy a new one. Family sharing, family account sharing. Buddy passes, so you can loan out a 3-month Stadia subscription to other people. The controller in some areas.
Wow.
And it will only launch with 12 games.
And they're all, like, old as dog shit.
So basically, like, anything that would make this unique, of course, obviously, the TaskBot that's programmed into every Stadia is also not available. They said that won't even be available for, like, 2 years. So that was all not in it. So, then
so that's the shot. What's the chaser?
The Stadia came out, and guess what? It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks and it's, like, massively underperformed, even than, like, what Google expected.
People have, like, there's immediate, like, gameplay demos from IGN, from the Washington Post, even, that are, like, here is, like, fucking 5 seconds of input lag while playing Destiny. Like, not even in a, like, every so often the game hiccups, like, very rarely. Like, it's, like, trying to play basically on, like, mid settings with, like, the internet connection of a major publishing company.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, you can't even handle that.
Nope. Womp womp. Sorry, guys.
Complete garbage, exactly like everyone thought it was going to be.
Shockingly, this thing that everybody said was going to suck and won't work with the current American broadband infrastructure sucked and doesn't work with the current American broadband infrastructure. Amazing. Imagine that. Stop pushing for game streaming. It doesn't work. Stop. It's just not functional. Ever. And besides, I'm just not going to do it because I want to, like, own my fucking video games. Like, this nightmare scenario where these idiots are, like, shelling out full price for old video games that they probably won't even get to own in a few years. You are a mark. You are a rube. You are somebody who, like, is easily preyed upon by watch salesmen in Las Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, you answer Nigerian prince email scams. That's you. Unless you're buying this fucking thing to review it, like the Gigaboots guys, like, you are just... you were just an easy mark if you really thought this was going to work. And now it's like, you probably won't even get to keep those video games you bought, you'll have to re-buy them in a few years if you want to play them on like an actual console.
They're
stupid.
Like, they're already putting out like free games to save face.
And one of the free games is a game you could have bought on Axe. Like, if you, again, Gigaboots Dan was like, cool, this game I just bought is now free next month. So I, like, threw my money away.
It's, like, it's incredible. Like, I can't think of anything that's even worse. Like, this is kind of, in a way, worse than Fallout 76 because we knew it was going to be like this.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, Fallout 76...
I didn't expect 76 to be as bad as it was.
We knew it was going to be, like, not great. We didn't expect it to completely fall apart. But, like,
right.
This is, like, every time something new about fucking Stadia came out, it's like, oh, that's a bad idea. That's a dumb idea, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That idea won't happen. That's not a real thing you're suggesting. And then it comes out,
shockingly,
and it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. That video of, like, the guy just, like, pressing the space bar, and, like, you can actually just count how long it takes before the character jumps is, like, Google should be embarrassed.
Oh, God. It's bad. They won't be embarrassed because they're, like, a giant monolithic company that sucks and just fired 4 union organizers inside their company, like, this morning. So, like, that's Google. Like, that's just kind of like what they do. They're a major, multinational American tech corporation. They, by definition, have no soul. It's just even more apparent in, like, really shady stuff like Stadia's game buying, and that's an extremely egregious finger quotes. Their game buying scheme is so transparently just crooked. It's just meant to liberate idiots from their money. Yeah, don't buy Stadia. Don't do it. Why would you do that?
Don't even think about it. Like,
go buy a Switch.
Yeah, go buy something that actually runs games.
Yeah, God. All right, next. More give me the other dumpster fires. I know there's more.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'll skip ahead a little bit, so we'll get the dumpster fire out of the way. The last one.
Yeah, the last one is Anthem, right?
Yeah, you mentioned this one earlier. BioWare plans to a complete overhaul for Anthem.
Even though they have no idea what that will entail. They're literally just saying this shit. Like, yeah, I am going to remake fucking Tales of Xillia 2. How? I don't know, but I'm gonna do it. That's exactly what it sounds like.
You can't prove I'm not working on it.
Right. I might be.
Considering this game was made in, like, what, 8 months? Like, yeah, mm-hmm. But the overhaul, they mean literally any work can be done on it.
Yeah. And they've already still pushed back all the other updates. Those updates are still... I don't think any of those updates they promised are still out yet.
And this also means that, hey, guess what? Dragon Age 4 isn't coming out.
Dragon Age 4 isn't coming out. The rumored, like EA is trying to be like, hey, we're working on Mass Effect. No, you're not. Shut up.
Don't. No, everyone is... It's either all hands on deck at BioWare for Anthem, or it's...
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, or it's just like keep the servers up until we can quietly shut it down.
Yeah, one or the other.
And either way, like I don't know if they can pull a No Man's Sky for Anthem and like turn it into like a fucking stellar game, then hats off to them. That's great. I don't think it'll happen. I think No Man's Sky is the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, that's it. No Man's Sky is just a special case because I think part of it is that because No Man's Sky was an indie team, even though the game came out and was like a huge clusterfuck, they still got a huge influx of cash from the game selling pretty well from word of mouth in its first like week, even though after that there's like an immediate drop off. And the fact that they are, I think, technically still owned by Sony? No, because it just came out on Xbox. They were being funded by Sony.
They did get those Sony bucks.
They got some sweet Sony bucks. They got an influx of cash once the game came out. So they're still a small indie studio, but they had like money to work with and a shockingly patient player base who was like, all right, yeah, we'll give you time to fix this mess. And then over the months, as they fixed it, more sales happened. Their Steam rating improved. I think at this point now it's actually considered, if not very positive, then like positively reviewed game on Steam, which is an incredible turnaround, all things considered. And it all stems from the fact that this is like a small team working on a pretty simple engine. Like, it isn't like the fucking nightmare that is Frostbite. Like,
right.
I don't know what No Man's Sky is made in, but I'm sure it isn't like the fucking hellscape that is Frostbite that EA keeps making their devs work in. So like, you know, this is why No Man's Sky works. It's a lot of little factors, like the fact that they are still a small team, and that money goes for, like, the money they make goes way further than the money in, like, a fucking BioWare situation, you know? Like, that, like $2 million goes a whole hell of a lot, further for No Man's Sky than it does for fucking any EA studio, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what it is. It is such a massive difference. And I mean, like, they think, or they look at like Final Fantasy XIV, which also pulled off like a huge thing, but like, they don't realize they want to have this done in like 6 months or however much. But like, if you look at like Square's financial reports, they were in like the red for 2 years because of the whole fucking Final Fantasy XIV debacle. That was a true all hands on deck scenario. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of like weird, like, that's why Final Fantasy XIII got 2 sequels that nobody fucking asked for. It's because they were like, we got assets, let's put them to work. Like, that's it. You know? So, it's completely different beast. And everybody now thinks, well, we can be No Man's Sky, or we can be Final Fantasy IV. No, you can't. You can't. I'm sorry.
No,
you just can't.
They were insanely special circumstances, and EA does not have the creative aspect, and they do not have the, I guess, the lack of corporate influence that No Man's Sky has to actually pull this off.
Yeah, no.
There are too many men in business suits who are going to interfere with any sort of, like, actual inspired attempt to make this game better.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just the fact that it has to run on EA's shitty proprietary engine that is, like, a massive pile of shit for anything other than first-person shooters is proof enough of that, you know? And they can't swap engines. So, I don't know. If I was EA, I'd just pull the fucking plug and try and write it off and shut down BioWare. Oh, well. Okay, are we out of the clusterfuck forest?
We're out of the clusterfuck forest. On to mostly good news for the rest of this.
Hey, I love good news.
So I'll get one of the bigger things that happened out of the way too. Microsoft Xbox X019. They had their big fancy press conference.
Oh yeah, where like nothing happened.
They announced some stuff. Most of it was kind of bland, but they had stuff that looks kind of neat. Grounded, a survival game where you play as someone who shrinks down to the size of an ant.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the FPS.
Yeah. They showed off, they're putting Halo Reach in the Master Chief collection.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, put that on PC. Rare is actually working on something that's not garbage.
What?
They're working on Everwild, which kind of looks like their take on Zelda, like kind of how Banjo-Kazooie was their take on Mario.
Right.
They showed off Bleeding Edge, which makes me laugh because I realized watching that trailer, it's just OW Overwatch. Like, it was like, me and Mr. J on Twitter were like, I'm like, look, it's Diva. Look, it's Zarya. And he's like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It is OW Overwatch. Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. It's just, hey, what if we made it like bad and edgy? Well, here you go. Mm-hmm. This is a game nobody asked for. This is especially a game nobody asked for.
Yeah, it's like, what if Overwatch looked gross?
Yeah, and I mean, like, Overwatch 2 doesn't look that great. We talked about that one. So, It's like, oh no, it's even more of a step down. Oh no! They're gonna send Ninja Theory to the Forza mines!
Well, you know what? In that case, good. They deserve it.
I guess it's a good thing, yeah.
They'll turn into like dirt bikes.
Actually, no, wait, that would be sick if we could finally get a new dirt.
That would be cool, actually. Never mind.
Never mind. Shut up.
So yeah, that's what else. They just announced like a bunch of other stuff. Age of Empires. People are excited about that.
Right.
Don't Nod's new game, Tell Me Why, is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Flight Sims, of course.
Yeah.
And then they're announcing their streaming service, xCloud.
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
And they're also putting the Xbox Game Pass on PC, which is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, Game Pass is a great bargain. If I had Windows 10, I actually would get Game Pass because it's a pretty incredible deal, honestly. You don't pay a lot of money and you can just play tons of video games. I think it's a pretty good deal. So whenever I finally get my SSD, I'm probably just gonna bite the bullet and upgrade to Win 10, so that I can actually have access to that, because it's like I said, it's a pretty good. You could do worse for sure. So yeah, and I mean Xbox is banking pretty fucking hard on Game Pass, and it has. I mean, like it's pretty shocking how well Game Pass has worked to make. Even though the Xbox One has been such a disaster for Microsoft, Game Pass and the extent of back compat has been a really good show of goodwill from Microsoft, and I feel like they're going to keep leaning on that into the next gen, because it actually has kept them competitive with Sony. Not very competitive with Sony, mind you, but competitive enough to keep their heads afloat. So, and competition is always good. Like, as much as I love to make fun of Microsoft, like, it would be bad if it was a one console market that was just Sony.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
That's how you get stagnation. And even if Microsoft is like clearly not keeping up at all with Sony, like having it as a deterrent is still helpful.
It's a fallback plan, so if Sony ever does like do something bad, or like really fuck up in a severe way, like no used games, like fucking Xbox One when it first launched, that kind of thing. It's always like, well, fuck, people just go to the new Xbox because they're not going to do that.
Like honestly, the fact that Microsoft's announcement for Xbox One crashed so hard, was great because Sony got to shift their entire premise on look at all the problems we won't have.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like, so, you can bet, like, a few of those things that Microsoft announced were, like, Sony probably had those in the works, too, and they're like, never mind.
Yeah, JK, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like, publishers and console makers fucking hate used games. They just hate them, y'all. And so I'm sure Sony was also, like, entertaining the idea of, like, blocking used games, because, I mean, you need to remember, these are still giant multinational corporations. They are not your friend. Nintendo is not your friend. Disney is not your friend. Sony and Microsoft are not your friends. I hate to tell you this. Stop thinking that they are. Like, Nintendo does not love you. They love your money. Like, that's just how it is. And Sony is the exact same way. If Sony could find a way to wring more blood from the stone that is your wallet, they would find a way. And the only thing that keeps them at bay currently is like the fact that they do have some kind of competition. So like, no, as much as I love to dunk on Microsoft because they make it extremely easy, I don't want them to go anywhere, it'd be really bad, because then Sony's fucking competition would be the Stadia, and the future we don't fucking want is one where you don't own your video games. That's a horrible idea. So like, yeah, as long as Microsoft kind of keeps their head above water, that's literally all that matters.
Right. So, as long as you buy enough Xboxes.
So, Game Pass is working out pretty well for them, and I'm glad for it, so.
I'm not saying you personally need to buy an Xbox, but maybe if your friend who doesn't play a lot of video games asks which console to get, tell him to get an Xbox.
Get an Xbox. It's fine, All right. What's next?
So next is is a bunch of fun little stuff that I thought was interesting. So this one just makes me laugh. It's a little bit more schadenfreude, but the Uncharted movie has been in development for so long that Mark Wahlberg, once cast as Nathan Drake, is now playing Sully instead.
Oh, it sucks so much. I hate that Mark Wahlberg still has a fucking career. He's such an asshole, and it's like, man, why are you getting this fucking guy involved? And he would never have made a good Nathan Drake.
I saw a comment that fucking shattered my mind when I read it.
What?
Which is, okay, so first off, this Uncharted movie is a prequel starring Tom Holland. which is interesting,
Oh.
I guess.
Okay.
It's a weird thing to decide, but also the comment I saw that blew my mind was, why are you hiring Mark Wahlberg when Bruce Campbell is right there?
Oh my god, you're so right, though. Bruce Campbell would make an incredible Sully. Shut up.
He would be perfect. It's the role he was born to play.
He literally looks like the fucking guy. Oh my god.
Like, he was that show Burn Notice, right? Like, just get his Burn Notice wardrobe where he wore the fucking tropical shirt and the khakis. Like,
God,
it's
shut up.
perfect.
That'd be amazing. Oh, man, we're gonna be stuck with Mark Wahlberg when Bruce Campbell is right there. Oh, man, you're right. Man. But like, who the fuck wants an Uncharted prequel anyways? Just adapt the first video game. It wouldn't be hard.
Right? Like, it's like literally lined up to be a movie. Like, it's so fucking easy. You could literally, there's nothing in the first Uncharted movie that could not be condensed down, or in the first Uncharted game, excuse me, that couldn't be condensed down into like an hour and 40-minute movie or whatever, you know? And like, if you're not gonna do a prequel and like you're gonna do Uncharted 1, Harrison Ford's right there to play Sully.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
Why are we getting Mark Wahlberg? He sucks. He's still just a shitty, racist garbage man, and nobody likes him. Stop making me see him. I hate him. Next.
Okay, this one's actually legitimately cool though.
Hit me.
Players find the holy grail of Majora's Mask speedrunning.
Okay, tell me what this is, because I saw it, but I hadn't had a chance to actually watch the video clip yet.
Okay, so let me you know what? I'll just read the article verbatim here because I don't know enough how to sum it up.
Thank you.
Okay. So for Majora's Mask, the Holy Grail has always been warping directly to the final dungeon on the moon. That method's been found. It requires some highly specific trickery. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask players usually need to complete 4 dungeons over the course of 3 in-game days, traveling back and forth, blah, blah. Over time, speedrunners have removed many of the steps that normal players would take to complete this game.
Yeah.
This summer, the Majora's Mask community found a way to access the debug menu using a method that required playing the ocarina 63 times.
Oh my god.
This method made it possible to collect the necessary masks and travel to the moon, and also took 10 whole minutes of ocarina playing. Not ideal.
Oh my god, AGDQ is gonna rule.
A true moon warp is something else entirely. It's about traveling to the moon without using any kind of debug menu. Mm-hmm. For years, it's been the trick, and now there's a way to do it. The method is complicated. Thankfully, it's been laid out in detail by a glitch hunter and speedrunner Exodus122 in a YouTube video.
Okay.
The method requires entering certain locations from specific doors, getting your rupee to drop in the right spot, and completing a lot of other arbitrary-looking but necessary steps.
Oh my god, yes.
This is because the method uses something called stale reference manipulation, or SRM. SRM was discovered in Ocarina of Time and can be used to change the content of treasure chests. That's because it allows runners to overwrite the code or value for actors within the game. In layman's terms, an actor is an object or an entity in the game world, and replace them with the value of the items they want. So, SRM is being used to change the variable that tracks the most recent owl statue players save at. Okay. These statues are scattered around the world at specific spots, and if you change the location value of somewhere else, say the moon, you can reload your save and warp to that specific spot.
Oh my god.
He goes on to describe every single step you need to take to rewrite this code. I won't read all of it, but it goes from I need to enter the southern swamp for the woods of mystery, blah blah. I took the rupee from the loading plane and through the Zora fins, blah blah blah. In order to load the owl statue in a specific part of memory, I reloaded the room with the owl statue in a very precise position and caught the Zora frames in the same frame I loaded the room.
Ben,
I played 6 notes on the
SGDQ is gonna rule.
I played 6 notes on the ocarina and saved at the owl. Reloading the save brought me to Majora.
Yes! I'm so excited!
This is a cool thing. Rewriting the in-game values like this is a trick I've seen before. I've seen it done in Super Mario World.
Right.
Where you can actually, through a zillion inputs in a fraction of a second, use junk code to create Flappy Bird inside Super Mario World.
Right.
Or like Snake or other very simple games like that. This is the first time I've seen it done in like a 3D game.
Yeah.
I think that's super, super fucking cool. I don't know if you can actually do it like by hand without like a TAS.
Maybe there'll be a TASBot run of Majora's Mask. That would be insane.
That would be cool. I think this is cool. This is a lot like the Finding the Barrier Break and Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fucking super dope.
I love speedrunning. I love hearing speedrunning like discoveries. Yeah. It's just the coolest. It's just like, you've done it. You've cracked this game open, just wide open.
You found the thing that like fucking completely changes the game now.
Yeah,
for speedruns.
Cool. It's so cool. So
let's go back a little bit. Instead of breaking games that already exist, we'll look at a game that didn't come out.
Oh boy.
The Sonic the Hedgehog 3 prototype has been found.
Oh yeah, I heard a little bit about this.
This is a cool thing where there were a few screenshots. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog 3's, like, its progress has been tracked pretty well, but there's one very late prototype that was, like, I think, like, a month before the game came out.
Oh, wow.
That screenshots existed of, but, like, no one could find a copy of that exact prototype. It's been found, and it's playable. There are a few things, so here's a list of things that were in it. The game appears to include a drop dash ability for Sonic, one that exists 2 decades before the feature was finally officially introduced in Sonic Mania.
Wow.
That was the ability to drop down and enter a spin dash immediately.
Right.
There was a unique special stage. It appears that the Flying Battery Zone was going to be part of Sonic 3 and not Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay.
The music is all different.
Okay.
Showing a complete absence of, I don't know if you noticed, but the Michael Jackson tracks.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all different in this beta version.
Wow.
There's also a few things, little details. The Knuckles sprites are completely different in this than they are in the final game. Sonic also uses his Sonic 2 sprites and not his Sonic 3 redesign.
Oh.
Which is kind of interesting because it's not like a fill-in. They edited his Sonic 2 sprites to have the same palette that Sonic 3 has.
That's weird.
So that indicates they were just going to originally just like use the same sprites, but like eventually replace them with the new ones.
Okay.
It's just like cool little things.
Secret,
like they've got
hidden pieces of video game history, kind of like that guy that found the Nintendo PlayStation prototype in like an attic or something, you know?
Yeah, little cool things like that. I really love like when this kind of thing comes out.
It's just, you know, because we have so much of video game history that's just like lost, you know? Like it's just gone forever. Literally thousands of video games that once existed will never be recovered because of any number of factors, including just publishers refusing to keep track of like their history. So it's always really cool to actually recover a piece of that history. There's a lot of stuff out there that I would like to see like that. I mean, we all know there's tons of just like Duke Nukem Forever builds is like a cliche answer, but like there's like Half-Life 3 builds that definitely exist, or at least Episode 3 builds that definitely exist and we'll never see. I would like to actually, like StarCraft Ghost, that's another one that probably has, you know, like those famous lost games that almost certainly have some kind of prototype build, but we'll never see it. I think that kind of stuff is really fascinating, and I would like to see more of it, but, you know, every time it comes out, I always just get, like, excited. I'm like, yay, more history!
Yeah,
more
just, like,
stuff that's been lost forever.
Yeah, like, one more little detail that's just like, oh, that fills in the gaps, you know?
Right.
Like, and, you know, especially these people have been looking for this, so I'm really happy for them, because they've been looking for something like this for, like, you know, decades, almost.
Yeah, of course. So it's like finding the like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
You know? Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, just finally like the last piece is in there.
That's so cool. All right, what's next?
Next we have PS5 controller patent. Has shown off some details about the controller.
It looks pretty much the same, a little bit more rounded. It actually kind of seems to have some like almost Xboxy aesthetic going on.
It's chunky.
It's chunky. I like it. I hope it weighs like an Xbox controller. Actually, where I read somewhere that it's kind of like it's heavier than the PS4 controller, which is good. I love a heavy controller. but it's still lighter than an original Xbox 360 controller. Which is fine. I've said before that I think the 360 controller is basically the perfect video game controller in terms of like button spacing and like the weight and heft and how good it feels to hold. Other than the GameCube controller, of course. But the GameCube controller is still a little too light. I mean, the Wavebird kind of fixes that, but then it adds like extra bulk. Anyways, but like in general, I think the 360 controller is pretty nearly perfect. And so if the PS5 controller kind of has more heft to it like that, then like absolutely, I love it. Especially if it means it has more fucking battery life.
Yeah, well, one of the nice things we've seen is the complete absence of that light.
Yes. Although I've always heard that the trackpad is what eats batteries, and it still has a trackpad.
Really?
That's what I've always heard.
Huh, I would have thought it was a constant light being on.
But I mean, it's just a little cheapo LED. It's not like those really eat a lot of juice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I bet it could be the light, but somebody told me once that it's actually the trackpad that's the problematic part of the PS4's controller. And, I mean, that kind of makes sense. It is like an actual always-on, touch-sensitive, like, little piece of technology. I don't know. But, I mean, trackpads on laptops don't really eat that much juice, you know?
Right.
I don't know. It could have been light. We'll see. But they did get rid of the big fuck-off light.
Yeah, so that's good. The analog sticks look a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's kind of cool. I hope the shoulder buttons are a little clickier, a little less smushy.
Yes. They're probably still going to be triggers. Yeah, here's PS5 controller design possibly revealed. They're probably still going to be smushy triggers, but less so. I hope. I think I read somewhere that they're going to put in like a better spring, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So, and that would kind of assist with its
if
squishiness.
If they had like more resistance, if they were a little bit sturdier, I'd feel better.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think it looks great. I mean, I really like its more rounded look, where it's a little bit chonky and more round, so that it has kind of an Xbox aesthetic to it. I think it looks neat. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll
PS5
see
is out in late 2020, so basically a year from now. I'm not an early console adopter. I'm not, but boy, I think I'm gonna try and get this fucking thing at launch, because if it does everything they're saying, it is actually gonna be a pretty sweet little system. Sweet deal.
I'll say it looks that controller, like if that's what they ends up being the final design, I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'll be okay with it. So. Did you hear also that the CEO of Sony was like, yeah, we want to try and get as many PS5s in people's possession as possible. So the rumor is $499 launch price point, which would be incredible. I'd be okay with that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. $499, $399. I'm betting they'll do they're gonna probably do 2 SKUs like always, like a 500 gig SSD and a 1 terabyte SSD. Although honestly, it would be better if they did a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte SSD SKU. That would be way better.
You know, we'll see what the norm for memory becomes by next year.
God, it has to be a terabyte by next year, please. 500 gigs is not enough. Yeah,
I feel like you know, with the way that like storage is like constantly growing, you know, I can easily see like the shift happening from 500 to a terabyte in consoles, like happening by the next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they kind of have to. But also, we were talking about how the PS5 is going to let you choose what you install. I think we talked about that on like a previous
we did mention that
episode. And I'm cool with that. If it means I can pick, like, not, like, you know, like the multiplayer and stuff like that when you install to, like, save space on your system, that would be amazing. Because I never play multiplayer. I'm sorry, I just don't like talking to people. Forgive me, internet. I'm not a very good internet personality.
So, but yeah, so that looks like... Yeah, well, that's one more check mark in the, boy, I'm excited for the PS5.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to get hyped for new consoles because it's like, you know, but boy, I'm hyped for the PS5. It's been a long time since I was like really excited for a new system. Like, like since the PS2. I think the last time I was like a little kid excited for like a new system was the PS2. Like it's hopefully if it actually manages to kind of be what all the rumors are saying, then it could be something really cool and very special, especially with the we'll see how back compat works. If it is PS4, awesome. But if it's like PS3 and PS2 and even PS1, fucking radical. Dope. Perfect.
Incredible.
Day one buy, you did it. You sold me a PS5 the day it comes out so that I can finally play like all of my old video games on one thing, you know? God, please.
Boy, it'll be nice to be able to play PS2 games again.
Oh, yeah, because I don't ever drag my PS2 out, especially now that its disk drive is kind of wonky. I have to use, I think I've said this here before, I have to use a butter knife to open my PS2. So, that'd be really nice to be able to just, like, play PS2 games without trying to fight that fucking thing open.
Yeah. So. Also, it'd be nice to not be shackled by a cord like a caveman.
Like an animal. Like a circus elephant tied to a log. Yeah. Horrible.
You know, parents say, like, hey, don't sit too close to the TV. I don't have a choice.
I don't actually know. That's not. I bought a controller extender for my PS2 because I was so sick of it. So like now it's like one of those things that like connects to like the end of your PS2 and then it also connects back to your PS2. So it gave me like 10 extra feet of controller cable. It's great. But it is weird to just have like a giant cable like snaking through your living room like an animal.
And you have to stand up to turn in the console like it's the fucking 50s.
Oh my god, I know. We're so spoiled now.
What do you want me to do? Set my TV to channel 3?
Yeah, oh my god, no. It's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, at this point, like, when I turn on my PS4, my TV knows to swap to the correct channel.
I know.
And it turns, like, my TV turns on when I turn on my PS4, and it swaps to the correct, like, input channel. It's like, boy, we're spoiled, aren't we?
We are so fucking spoiled with technology these days.
Oh,
it's incredible.
God. Jeez, I was on the plane from Tokyo. And I was like, I can't believe I'm in a metal tube 30,000 feet in the air and I can't get on YouTube. I was like incensed by this. that like, I was accessing the internet from a plane on like my fancy space age info box that fits in the back of my pocket. And I was mad that I couldn't fucking watch a YouTube video on a plane.
It's funny because like we were talking about like last episode we were talking a little bit about like Eternal Darkness. And I was thinking about that and I was like, boy, you can't play that game anymore.
You can't
because
those tricks don't work anymore.
Yeah, because the video one thing like the other like things are all assume you're playing on like a CRTV.
Yeah, even like the whole trick of like the game audio turning down, it uses like an old like what an old volume bar on a TV looked like. It doesn't look like a modern little minimalist one. It's like a big green one on the side of your TV screen, you know? It's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Games have changed a lot. Technology's changed a lot in like 10 years.
It's just like I was thinking, that's just funny to me. Like now we have like TVs that turn on automatically and know what input to go to. Fucking.
We're old. We're ancient, like the stones, like the rocks that form the mountains. Oh God. All right, what's next?
We got one more article. And this
was
very recently, like yesterday. Recently.
Oh boy.
Final Fantasy VII Remake details, Turks, Avalanche, Cloud abilities, Chocobo, and more, Vareth and Barrett visuals, tons of stuff got shown off.
It looks so good!
Not like any trailers, but like a bunch of screenshots. You got visual remakes of the Aerith and then the Barrett and Barrett renders. That look amazing.
Amazing. We got to see what Aerith's house looks like. It looks amazing. There are renders for all the Turks. They look great. Well, not for all the Turks, but for Reno and Rude, they look great. we got to see the new Chocomog summon, and it looks great.
Looks adorable. A few details about Cloud's attacks and stuff, and how you used limits now, how you upgrade materia and equipment.
I'm so excited.
We got a hint. Good. We got a hint of full HD Nailbat.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Every bit of it. We finally got to see what Wedge. Which one is the big guy in Avalanche? That's Wedge, right?
Yeah.
We finally. This is actually it's weird. That's the first time we've seen Wedge since the trailer from 2015. He hasn't been in any of the new ones, so everyone's like, what the fuck does Wedge look like now? He looks the same, but I did think it was interesting that they hadn't actually shown his face yet. Mm-hmm. He looks fine. He looks cute. Biggs is really hot. It weirds me out that they made Biggs and Jesse, really hot now.
It's going to be very heartbreaking because he's so hot.
He's so hot. His perfectly chiseled face. I can't get over the fact that he's voiced by Gideon Emery. They literally got fucking Gideon Emery, who is an incredible voice actor. He played Balthier in fucking Final Fantasy 12. They got Gideon Emery back to play a fucking bit character who dies in the first, section of the game. It's really? Really? You couldn't give him, a bigger role? Because his voice is amazing?
You couldn't give him Reno or something? No.
I am still kind of bummed that Quentin Flynn is not Reno in the remake. It's just I know that they said they wanted it to be its own thing, and of course all the old voice actors are still getting work because they're all still in Dissidia and stuff. Tifa's original voice actor is still Tifa in Dissidia. That kind of thing. Right. But Quentin Flynn is just Reno. He's so Reno that he's also Axel, aka Reno's fucking, doppelganger in Kingdom Hearts. He's that degree of Reno. It's just weird to hear another voice come out of his mouth, more so than basically any other character in the remake, because, everybody else is fine, and I wasn't, other than George Newbern and Sephiroth, of course. Mm-hmm. I wasn't, too attached to everybody's voices. That's not true, actually, now that I say that. I'm also pretty attached to Steve Blum as Vincent, but we haven't heard him yet, so it's fine. And Bo Billingsley as Barrett. I changed my mind. All of these new voice acting decisions suck. I miss the Advent Children cast. Everybody in Advent Children was so good. That's fine, I guess. But still, I just wish they could have at least had Quentin Flynn back as Reno. If I had to ask them to keep one character or one voice actor from the original, it would have been him.
Yeah, if I had one pick, it would be Quentin Flynn too.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody else is fine, but just that's that one. His voice is just so distinctive, and it just suits Reno so well.
Yeah.
And this new guy just sounds fine, just fine. Nothing standout-ish. So. But otherwise, I think it looks great. I'm just so fucking eager. March cannot get here any fucking faster.
So a few more little details. I'm gonna ruin that shot of Aerith's house for you.
Cloud is T-posing in it.
Cloud is T-posing in the doorway.
Yeah. If you look at the doorway of Aerith's house, Cloud is T-posing. He's T-posing to assert dominance. It's fine.
And what else? So there was, the dev team talked a little bit about their, thoughts about the remake and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's all cool, everything. The big thing is that Nomura stated that he's been working on the remake project since around the time of Advent Children.
Bullshit. He's so full of shit.
He's been thinking about planning and stuff for this since then.
That's not working on the remake, Nomura. You didn't even know you were on the fucking remake until they announced it in 2011. Chill. You big liar.
He also revealed that, like you predicted in our episode, the final boss will probably not be the motor, the big robot.
I fucking called it. Did I not tell you? There's no way they're gonna end their fucking remake on a big random motorcycle.
He didn't say it specifically, but he says when you think of Midgar's final boss, you probably think of the motor, but in this game, new bosses will appear and add to the excitement of the story even more. More importantly, they're already working on the next part.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised at all, of course. I mean, at this point, I assume that most of part 1 is done, and they're just, like, not done, but they're in the final, like, leg of things. Because at 4 months out, that's when you really want to have, like, 85 to 90% of your video game finished.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're probably, that's not true. No. Because Capcom said back at E3 2018, they said that when they announced DMC5, they were about 75% done at E3. And so the last leg was to cover the last 75%. So, yeah, I would say that the part 1 is probably 80 to 85% done, and they're just in the home stretch right now before they do, like, the usual QA testing and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, as they finish more and more of the remake, and as things start to solidify, and they, like, say, like, hey, this part is done, move on, they're probably pulling team members from the remake part 1, and they're putting them onto remake part 2, which probably was concurrently developed. Like, not that I, like, know a lot about video games, but I have read a lot about how video games get made. And it's probably, like, over the last year, like, in the last year, they probably also started working on part 2, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, like, they got, like, the beginning of pre-production done in this last year for part 2. And now, as, like, things start to wrap up on part 1, they're transitioning team members from 1 to 2.
Yeah, it's probably like a fucking gradient of work.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that things are starting to get done, now they can start really putting, like, part 2 development into full gear. So, we might get this game in 2022. We probably won't, but I would still love it if it came out in 2022.
Yeah.
I would also like for them to announce the actual structure of this remake. Like, how many parts are we getting? I would really like to know that.
Help out a lot if we had any idea, like, how many we're getting.
Yeah. Fingers crossed that it's only a 2-part thing, but I'd be okay with 3 parts. More than 3, it gets a little absurd. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they'll go over 3.
Because, like, if you have to do 3, then you can't do 4, you have to do 5, right?
Yeah,
like,
you can't just have a 4-part fucking series is weird. Nobody does that. Okay, well, fucking Twilight did it, but that's not a good example.
But Twilight's also weird.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know.
You've got to do odd number installments, basically, or 2.
Or 2. It's either part 1 and part 2, 3 parts, or 5 parts. 4 parts is just odd.
No one does 4.
Odd, I say. Technically even, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I'm funny. Laugh. Anyways. Yeah, I'm still insanely every time I see fucking pictures of it, I'm just like, wow, this game is actually happening. Holy fuck. They're really remaking Final Fantasy VII. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually going to come out. We're going to get to actually play it.
Soon. Pretty soon.
Really soon.
It's November, baby. The end of November. So, yeah, that's pretty wild. I would love it if we could get the demo. Even if it's just the bombing run demo, you know? Like the one that's been on fucking, like, at every game show since E3. Like, if we could just get that for everybody to play it, that would be sick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I swear you're killing me here. They put out a Kingdom Hearts demo for Xbox One, so, like...
Oh yeah, they also announced they're putting the whole collection on one, so that's cool.
Yes! Good for them, finally. They're putting all of, like, the modern Final Fantasies, so anything after 7, is also getting put on Xbox One Game Pass, which is cool. This is what I mean by, like, Game Pass being a huge, like, victory for Microsoft, basically. Like, they really are just working this in their advantage. It's like, man, you could just pay, like, a little bit of money and have access to a massive amount of video games. So, like, yeah. Either way, Final Fantasy VII Remake just looks incredible at every step of the way. I need more. I'm hoping... I was talking about it on Twitter. I was talking to the developer of Astoria Legends, which is that cool DMC Kingdom Hearts 2D fighter thing.
Yeah!
Coming out eventually. I love that guy, and I love his game. What you were talking about, he says probably get a trailer at Jump Festa. That sounds reasonable, because the big announcement at the Game Awards is going to be Smash DLC Fighter. Like, it's happening. We all know it's going to happen at the Game Awards because they did it last year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they're going to announce the last DLC fighter at the Game Awards. They did it last year. Jeff Keighley has been kind of alluding to it and followed a DMC account, so...
Speaking of that, though, I will say something. I just saw something come across.
Oh, yeah?
My feed, for starting at the very end of November in Smash, Chris, Leon, Wesker, and Jill are on the Spirit board in Smash. That's... I mean,
God,
if we don't get Dante, I'll take Leon.
What if we get a Resident Evil rep in fucking Smash? That would be bonkers. That would be the craziest possible timeline to get like a Resident Evil rep in Smash. Like,
right?
Put fucking Jack from RE7 in Smash. That'd be so sick. Oh man, with his like fucking sledgehammer. Oh, that'd be so good. Or his shovel that he uses to decapitate that deputy.
God.
Oh, that'd be so good. Okay.
God, yeah.
Man,
Well,
when is the Game Awards?
When is that? Let me pull that up.
I'm googling it right now. December 12th.
Okay, so that's pretty soon.
Pretty soon. I'm just...
I mean, we're getting
excited.
a Smash trailer. We're gonna see the fifth one.
We're getting the fifth DLC fighter. It's like the Game Awards suck as like an awards show because nobody cares. Like DMC 5 didn't get the GOTY nomination. It is up for Best Action Game though, so if you don't go vote for it, like you know the joke is I don't care about awards except for when a game I really like is up for an award. In which case I desperately care about awards.
Listen, the Gorge's official statement of the Game Awards. We don't give a shit about the Game Awards, but go vote for the games that we like.
Specifically Devil May Cry 5. And, Katana Zero. Katana Zero is up for nominations too, and it'd be sick if that would come out. Anyways, but yeah, we are definitely... It sucks as like an awards show, but as like a means to distribute new video game trailers... I'm okay with it being like a little baby E3 at the end of the year to kind of sate me for more news. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, that's officially it. That's everything I got.
We did it. We came in at under 2 hours, I think.
Yay!
I'm proud.
So, thank you, Visitor, for use of background music. If you want to support us again, you can go to audibletrial.com/gorgecast, but if you want to support us directly, we also have a Patreon and a Ko-fi, so you can either click on that and help us out with that. Again, at $500 a month on our Patreon, we will start The Bad Game, which is our streaming service where we will play a truly
our streaming service. I love it. It's our streaming service to rival the Stadia, and you know what? It will be consistently more good than anything the Stadia does, even though it will be a monthly stream where we play bad video games.
We have a radical new system to absorb input lag where we just play the game for you.
It's incredible. This way you don't have to suffer through playing bad video games. You can just enjoy the schadenfreude of me doing it instead.
It's very efficient and very, it's great at input reading, and it knows exactly what you want to do, which is see us suffer. So again, that's $500 at our Patreon. And if you want to listen to Sarah play a bunch of other games and do stuff and get caught up on all that, you can listen to her other podcasts, which she's going to tell you about right now.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out a lot of different systems. We have a lot of fun. We're trying out Monsters of the Week right now, which is a game I'm not playing, but my friends are. If you want to hear me, then you can go back and listen to our Pig Smoke block, which is probably one of my favorites. And next month, we should be back to Blades in the Dark. So there's a lot coming up. You should come check us out. We're at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks!
All right, that'll do it for us.
Too many options. Too many options.
Fuck Mark Wahlberg.
Fuck Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Go look up what he did to some Vietnamese guy and then come back and try and tell me that Mark Wahlberg is at all worth it or deserves to be anywhere near any fucking video game property. The fact that I still have to see his stupid smug face all the time makes me want to throw up. I can't stand him. He never properly apologized for that fucking thing either, by the way. So, yeah, fuck Mark Wahlberg. Put Bruce Campbell in the fucking Uncharted movie instead. He's good. We like him.
In the movie that's also going to suck like the Sonic movie, but whatever, at least cast someone good. Bruce Campbell would be the Jim Carrey of the Uncharted movie.
He would make it good, okay? His charisma alone would carry that to a really solid 7 out of 10, you know? So, yeah, go just fuck Mark Wahlberg. Good night, everyone.
Good night.